I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for critique, head over to my website, lachri.com/critiques. That link is below in the video description, and you can submit your work there. Today's submission comes from artist Autumn Martino. She's completed this boxer portrait in acrylics and pencil. You can view more of her work over at her website, and that link will be below in the video description. I love the stylized feel of this. You've got beautiful contrast here and just really nice contrast. The blue that you've pulled in over the black is such a nice addition to this versus just leaving it solid black or doing all of your highlights with the white, which tends to make the animal look very aged. So using the blue here, beautiful. Your contrast, again, gorgeous. Now, Autumn had a situation that I think every portrait artist comes across way too often. She was provided with a reference photo that is not ideal. Definitely not one I would accept to work from. So what she did was she went online and found another photo that she was able to see more detail in and work from. She tried to find one that was similar in position. Now, this is something that as a pet portrait artist, we do have to do a lot. The one thing I will, just a tip for all of you guys, if you're going to change the position like this, it's similar but not exact. When you do your initial line drawing, send that to the client first and make sure that that's okay with them before you ever start painting. Because you don't want to go through the painting process and have them realize, that's not the picture I gave you, I don't want to use that, it's not acceptable for whatever reason. So just don't spend too much time on a piece before you get their approval if you are making changes like this. Now, the newer reference photo is a huge improvement, but it's still not the greatest lighting, and especially on a dog like this that's got the black mask, it can be hard to get the depth and dimension in there if you don't have somewhat interesting lighting, or especially if you can get lighting, a light source coming from the side, that would be even better. I just doing a quick search on a boxer came up with this photo. This is a royalty-free photo, and look at the lighting on here. If you can apply some of this lighting and shading to yours, even if you want to go with the other drawing, which seems more accurate size-wise, but look at the lighting on this. I mean, if you're going to change stuff, you can really bump it up even further by choosing something that has the really strong lighting like this photo. Now, for the wrinkles on the head, when you're drawing wrinkles, whether it's a dog like this or a pug, they've got the really wrinkly forehead, the really thicker wrinkles. Make sure you don't just do light to dark. It ends up just looking like lines. Make it fade. Make your shadows fade from your darkest shadow up to the light. There's a transition there. It's not just dark light. It looks very flat if you leave it too dark, too much like that. If you can fade it from the darkest point up to the lightest point a little bit, it will round it off. Instead of being very flat, very angular, it will round off those wrinkles just a bit, which definitely can help create more depth in your piece. Now, for the fur color, I will regularly tell you, don't worry too much about color. It's not that big of a deal until you're doing pet portraits. This is one of those things, if that color is a little bit off, the client will quite often want you to redo it. It's a pretty common thing to have happen. And in this case, you've used a lot of yellow. Even if I were painting a yellow lab or a golden retriever, I'm not really going to use yellow. I'm going to use softer tones like burnt sienna with maybe unbleached titanium white, a little bit of black to tone it down as needed for the shadows. But those would be my main colors, not yellow. And it's really easy to look at certain dogs or look at blonde people and think that you're going to use yellow. You're almost never going to use yellow in fur or in hair unless it's a really weird dye job. Even with my weird dye job, I wouldn't use yellow. So here, going back to this one with the paint, I would definitely spend a little bit more time on making sure the color is closer to the reference. And obviously it doesn't have to be exact, but I would go closer than this because that is something that I've experienced a lot. People will come back and say, well, can you tint the color? Can you adjust this or that? Which is easy enough to do. We can do it with glazing. It's not that it's that big of a deal. But when you're doing something where you've got a lot of yellow, you pretty much know no animal is going to have yellow. Unless it's a bird. They've got some pretty bright yellows. But for cats and dogs, you're generally not going to use that color. Next, for his position, the photo that you went with, the one that you found online, the dog's legs are coming out like this. It's a little bit of a weird position just in that it kind of draws your attention off where those legs are coming off the page. An alternative might be to thin out the one side of the neck, and this is a terrible Photoshop job, but you get the idea. This actually helps keep the attention up onto the face more than having two sticks or the two legs sticking out at the bottom. If you want to see more of her work, and she's got a lot of portraits that are beautifully painted, I love the stylized look of her stuff. I have the link to her website below in the video description. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings. I have my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, art Q&A videos every Thursday, and artist vlogs each weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and see real-time clips of whatever it is I'm currently working on. I'll see you guys tomorrow.